Cool, thanks everyone. As you can see, we've got Rito Hlungwane and Joe Dweba. Rito, week off last week, good preparation, good chance. Obviously, we've got a Friday game and we're only leaving tomorrow, so good chance to get some prep in last week for this tour.
Yeah, I think, one of the challenges when you tour, Mikey, sometimes is we leave on a Monday, get there on a Tuesday, and we want the guys to recover on the Wednesday, and then we usually have sort of one day to train. But with an off week, we pretty much we in a good space to complete our work last week and just polish it today. So when we get there, it's more about recovery and just a captain's run. So it's perfect, worked out well for us.
All right, Joe, obviously we're quite close to the end of the season now. What is the mindset of the players heading into this tour?
No, the mindset never changes. We just want to continue playing, continue building, continue being strong as a team. As a collective, just to combine as well, just to continue, and see where we're gonna go with this competition. We've enjoyed our last few games now, so we just want to continue building on that.
Cool. How are you feeling about your game at the moment? You had some really good games against Leinster and La Rochelle. Are you happy with where you are?
No, I'm happy with where I am. It's as a player, you always have your up and downs. So yeah, I'm happy that things are working out quite well for me. So yeah.
Rito, maybe if you can just have a word about Joe and his performance recently and where he's at.
Yeah, it's like what I always say, Mikey, we always look for improvement. You're not always going to be consistent, but we're quite happy with where his game is at and the steps he's taken forward, and we're just looking for him to keep going up and getting those small improvements that he's been producing in the past couple of games.
Nice one. All right, guys. I see Nathan's got his hand up already. Go for it, Nathan.
Thank you very much, Mike. Good day, gentlemen. I've just got two questions up front. I just want to ask, Rito, what did the squad get up to last week in terms of training and recovery?
Yeah, like I said earlier, Nathan, it was more to prepare for this week. We pretty much have had train Monday, Tuesday, Thursday. So we did our normal 3 days. Actually, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we did our normal 3 days and then prepared for this week to make sure that, the travel doesn't disrupt us in terms of putting our plans in place. So we had a very good week. And the boys had a long weekend to rest. But in terms of preparation, we covered everything that we need for this Friday.
And just looking at history alone, you guys don't travel well in Europe. And how do you guys go about things to ensure that you come back with 2 wins out of 2 on the road with playoff contentions on the line?
Yeah, I think at the moment, the week off has really helped us in terms of preparation. We've had a full week of training last week. Like I said earlier, it's usually tough to leave on a Monday and still try to find time for recovery and training once you get there. So this week off has really assisted us in terms of preparation, and today's also helped, and this week gives us enough time to travel and recover. So that should definitely put us on a good foot going forward. Same thing as next week, we've got a full week to prepare. It's a longer week. We're playing on Friday, so Saturday we're off. Sunday we'll also be traveling, so it gives us an opportunity to have a full training week out in Galway.
Big Joe, some nice words from your coach. But for yourself personally, do you have any aspirations again to be in that Bok mix and just challenging the guys again and being around the system, the Springbok system?
100%. As a player, you always strive to always play for the Boks, always push for that. But also, it always starts at your union. I need to perform here in my union. I need to make sure that I get my targets, my scrum work around the park. Just continue working here at the Stormers first. Then, as that goes well, then I know that potentials to be selected to the Boks are also there. So yeah, I'm happy with that.
Thanks very much. Hi guys, good to see you.
Nice to meet you.
Rito, something from the last game that was pretty amazing was the number of penalties that you guys managed to, either penalties or advantage for penalties at the scrums. I think in the first half there was only one where you didn't manage to do that. So you must be really happy about that. As a forwards coach, and that you perhaps against the Ospreys, I don't know, perhaps let your standards slip a bit, but then came back in a big way.
Yeah, we're very happy with it. It's a big part of our game. It's the penalty. Then we go for touch, then we can strike, or it's the penalty, scrum penalty, we go for pulls, or scrum penalty, we go for touch. It gives us a lot of opportunity. I felt, the mindset we went into that Leinster game, we went into compete, like I always say to the guys, every team works hard, but that little extra to compete will give us an edge, and I thought the boys executed that well, and it's something we want to keep driving going forward.
Are you expecting anyone back this weekend? I mean, in the forwards, is Sitole coming back, or anyone coming back or injured or anything like that?
Yeah, Steve's been training. He's one that stands out because he hasn't played in a while. He's been training, so I think he'll be up for selection this week.
That's a huge. Oh, sorry.
Sorry, Steve. I'm just saying I'll send the full squad tomorrow.
My apologies, Mark. Sorry.
No stress. I'm just letting you know that it is coming tomorrow, all 27.
Okay, cool. Yeah, and I mean, I must say, Rito, if one analyzes how Steve went, prior to getting injured, I mean, that's pretty big boost for you to get at this stage of your campaign, isn't it?
No, absolutely. Steve's done really, really well. He's not saying that Brokey and Quenzo didn't do well in his absence, but we've been really happy with his scrum work, especially. When he's in there, he competes really well, we get a lot of penalties. He operates well with Riekert, and he operates well with France. And the two hookers, the 3-4 hookers that we have, Joseph, Andre Fenter, Skara, and JJ. He's a big gain for us going forward and going into the business end of the competition. We're quite happy with him being back. We just want to get him into proper full fitness where he'll probably be able to push 60 minutes. That's probably the next job that we want to get right, to get him really game fit again.
And looking at the Dragons, just from a forwards perspective, what is your view on the challenges that you will be facing with the Dragons, Rita?
Yeah, I think, with the Dragons, if you go into that game looking at the low position and think it's going to be easy or be complacent, you might find some strong challenges and be put on your back foot. So we're not taking them lightly. If you look at the lineup, they contest everywhere on the field. They've got a very strong more stopping system, and it's a team that tries hard, that competes. They keep trying, even though the low position doesn't give them much credit. But I know it's going to be a massive challenge up in front, and they compete really well.
Joseph, you mentioned about your Springbok ambitions still, and as I understand it, you're also virtually at the alignment camp. What do you think you need to do in terms of your game now that could get you back into the Springbok setup, into a sort of close to the in the 23? What's going to get you there?
Just better rate, work rate, and just being busy around the park. And obviously, as a front row, as a hooker, you get judged by set pieces. So I guess set pieces and being busy around the park and just being working around, just doing my job.
Do you sometimes feel you get a little bit too much grief from people? I mean, people aren't giving you enough credit. I mean, we also, in fact, talk about how the scrums are going. A scrum doesn't just function with two props. It certainly also functions with the hooker and locks and so on. So do you feel there's a little bit of, too much flack coming your way sometimes?
No, well, it depends on how you see it as a person. Might be good, might be bad. I don't focus on that. I just focus on my game on the field. On the field, I mean. So I don't focus on what happens outside. I can't what you call, I can't trying to find the English word. I can't control what people say about me. I just have to deliver for the team and just keep on fighting for the team.
And how do you feel being part of that front row unit that dominates like that? Must be.
We're all working hard. As a front row, we're all working hard. We're all doing our things. So yeah, we're all coming together. We want to make sure that we all give our little bit of input and our experience as well there.
And if you guys, are you in playoff mindset now, Joe? Is that where, is that the mental space you guys are in?
No, not even playing mind. Now I'm just focusing on the next game. The next game is Dragons, and we wanna make sure that we play against the Dragons. No playoff mindset. We're just focusing on game for game.
Cool. Thanks, guys.
Nice one, Steve. Thank you. Gavin.
How's it, guys? Thanks a lot. Rito, in a sort of roundabout way, Stephen touched on one of the things I was going to ask, which is around the whole concept of, when I first started rugby writing, it was way back in Durban in the 1990s, about the Natal team that used to have Tom Lawton, who was a very sort of very strong scrumming hooker. So I've always had this thing about scrumming hookers. Would you describe the man sitting next to you as one of those? Because there's some guys there's some hookers who are really good scrummagers, and there's others who sort of have other aspects of the game. But I've always sort of felt that when the Stormers really cook at scrum time, it is when Joseph's there. Would you agree? Maybe you just talk about the importance of that.
Yeah, I totally agree. Joseph is probably one of the best scrumming hookers we have in the country, possibly in the world. Just the level of detail that he goes through with his teammates, just the intensity he brings at training, his refusal to even lose one scrum at training, it's pretty impressive. It's something he really focuses on. And as Stephen, you might have said, probably doesn't get as much credit for that, but it's something he takes really seriously, and he's very effective at it. And you can ask the props, they really, really enjoy scrumming with him. And it's extremely important, in a pack to have a hooker, who takes his scrum seriously, because it all falls into place. You get a scrum penalty, like I said earlier, then you can more. You get a scrum penalty, it's an opportunity to get points. So it's massive for us to have a hooker like Joseph, where we can also push ourselves to get scrum penalties to give us more opportunities to score points. So yeah, definitely a scrumming hooker, and probably one of the best, and he takes it seriously. And I think the props really enjoy having him around.
Joseph, I might just ask you, do you see yourself that way? Do you see yourself as, I'm not a specialist, because obviously you can't be a specialist, but do you see that as like one of probably the big strengths of your game? And when you approach the games, you think as much about the scrums as you do about anything. Possibly more about the scrums than you do about some of the other things.
No, 100%. I'm also fortunate at this point that we've got a guy like Brock as well that's got a lot of experience. A guy like Francois Lever, so won a World Cup. Steve that came in from the Lions as well with his input. He was working with Rowan Dreyer. I think I was working with those guys down there at the Lions. Brock as well, as I mentioned. Nedlin, also a guy that's also wanting to fight, just continue, just wants to build himself. So I'm just fortunate that I'm around those guys as well. Youngsters as well coming in, Lizo, all the props around me that that can also help me as well. And I also look at myself and say, listen, I've rubbed shoulders with guys like Bongi, Malcolm, guys that have done it, the guys have won 2 World Cups, so I'm quite happy with that, and how they took Scrum seriously, how they took the SAP seriously, also built something in me as well to say that, listen, I can also do that. So yeah, I've been just building on that and just with experienced guys around me. It's just something that I'm just happy to do.
Thanks. Rito, just turning to Friday's game, you'll have to excuse my ignorance. I'm not entirely sure whether Rodney Parade is. I'm assuming you're playing there. They sometimes play elsewhere when the Dragons play, but I'm assuming that field is I'm sorry, I also came into this thing a bit late. So if this question's been asked already, also apologies for that. But is Rodney Parade one of those artificial surfaces you guys hate, or is it a normal surface?
It's a normal surface, actually a very
Okay.
well looked after field and very, very, very nice pitch. Probably the best that we play in. It's a very, yeah, it's got a good pitch, nice stadium, and yeah, we're looking forward to going there.
Okay, and then a week later you're going to Galway, which I think is actually a 4G these days. So my question still stands, sort of like, are you guys more confident about playing on that surface maybe than you were a year ago or the last time you were there?
Yeah, look, we're getting used to it. We're getting used to these 4G fields. When we go to Galway, we'll be training on the 4G field the whole week. Yeah, it's not even something we're concerned about. Yeah, we'll be fine when we get there. We'll play with a lot of speed as well. So on the 4G, it's usually a high speed sort of game. So we're actually looking forward to it. And the fact that we'll be training on a 4G field the whole week is gonna go a long way in helping us prepare even more.
Okay, and just, sorry, my final question, just still about the field, about the venue, Friday's venue. If my memory serves me correctly, the first ever win you scored overseas was at Rodney Parade in that very first tour. I think it was the last game of the tour.
Yeah.
So you say it's a good field, and obviously it's a field that, and you haven't won in a URC game overseas for quite a while. So it'd be a nice place to sort of restart a winning momentum overseas. Does that field? I mean, I know it's a long time ago. I think it was October 2021. But does that field have special memories and maybe sort of make you feel a bit more confident about Friday's game?
Yeah, look, it was nice to sort of get the win overseas under our belts. I remember that game really well. But I think what really got us there that week was just the mindset we attacked that game with, which is the mindset we would want to go with this week, and the mindset we had last week. Just going back to our normal, our standards, our values of being a team that competes for every single thing on the game, whether it's a breakdown in the scrum. We just want to win every little battle. The team that wants to be extremely physical in how we defend, in how we scrum, and how we maul. And I think, if we attack this game with that same mindset that we did last week and the previous time we played at Rodney Parade, we'll be able to control, the small little battles and the outcome that we really desire.
Thanks, guys. Thanks a lot.
Cool. Thanks, Gavin. Stephen, your hand's still up. Did you have more questions?
Yeah, I just want to quickly ask Rito, a guy that's increasingly making his mark, and his absence was keenly felt after leaving the field against La Rochelle, is BJ Dixon. So how do you feel about his game at the moment? I mean, sometimes I have heard them said that he could be the next Peter Steff, which is obviously, those are big words, but how do you feel about his game, and where do you think he can potentially go? Yeah,
look, I'm very, very, happy with BJ's progress. Like I might have said this before, he's a guy I've known since under 19. I've worked with him under 19s, under 21s, and it's so nice to see his progress, and the fact that I've known him for a while, I totally understand, what really drives him. I know what to say to him before a game. He's progressed really well. Very high work rate, probably one of the best tackle techniques, you will ever see. When you teach a kid how to tackle, BJ has that exact technique that would be written in a rugby textbook somewhere. Hard worker, and he does have, all the qualities to be probably one of the better sevens in the world one day. So I'm quite happy with his progress. I like his work rate and the fact that he's humble, smart kid, has managed to qualify for a degree in industrial engineering while he's playing professional rugby. So a nice example, for anyone coming up as a youngster. You can be a very good player. You can study and get a degree, and you can work hard and try chase to be a Springbok, and hopefully, sooner or later, BJ will start, operating closer to the circles of the Springboks. But yeah, someone we're very happy with and very proud of at this current stage, and we just want him to keep improving.
Cool. Thanks, guys. Have a safe trip.
Thanks.
Nice one. Thanks, Stephen. Thanks so much, guys. We'll catch you on Thursday with Dweba.
Just one question, just one question, quick, Mark. Sorry, on that.
No problem.
Yeah, because when you started with BJ, a question I think I wanted to ask in a while. Is BJ now a specialist 7, or do you still see him as a? I suppose he has to play there when he's playing off the bench. He has to sort of be the lock, but is he primarily, because you mentioned him as being one of the best 7s, but has he moved too far away from being also a lock?
Yeah, look, I mean, since I've coached him, I've always probably seen him as a 7, and it might 7 is the tough position usually when you're coming in as a youngster to sort of make your own. So it was nice for him to get experience, playing lock and then getting a bit of 7. I think he's there, but that doesn't close the door in terms of him covering us at lock when we need to. I've always said to him, it will benefit him if he can operate between those 2 positions, and the one message I always give him is like, you focus on stopping momentum in defense and giving us momentum, and he can do both those things, whether he's playing 7 or lock. But at this stage, I think he's operating really, really well for us at 7.
Thanks, Rito.
Thanks, Deb.
Cool, guys. Thank you very much. All the best. We'll catch you on Thursday. Cheers.